These women falling at the feet of your highness. I'm at the Four Seasons, getting sweetest massages. A real king, need a real queen right beside him. I put you in designer, looking like an African goddess. She just as modest as they come. You get on top, you can ride it till you. And if she like it, then I'm copping more than one. I'll let you blow a bag.
Thank you for tuning into another Devil's Advocate episode. I'm your host, Heem.
I'm your co-host, Tonka. And today we have a special guest, man.
Special guest in the building. For a second, just look at his face, though, just to see if it's recognizable for all my listeners and viewers in Philly. Just see if y'all recognize him from the same place I recognize him from.
Raheem Dickey, but go ahead. I had to say it, bro. Like, go ahead.
Dru Major, how you doing, brother?
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Like, I thank y'all for, having me up here, man. And I love what y'all doing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got going on. Y'all talking about real topics. And I'm just, I'm happy to be here, man. It's a pleasure. Thank y'all for having me, man.
That's good, man. We wanted to get you on here for a while and just the right topics, but
no doubt,
you've been busy lately.
Yeah.
And what you've been busy doing, so we had to wait to get this episode, man. Can you give us a little like that?
So I've been traveling for the past 2 years, man. Just doing what I do, Major Films, of course, which is my company. And I specialize in documentary style film, and I do videos and stuff like that, vlogs and stuff like that. But right now, for the last past 2 years, I just been working and traveling with Kyle Lowry, and we
for the girls that's watching, Kyle Lowry is the basketball player.
Yeah,
I had to explain that to my girl a couple times.
No question. Miami Heat, he just signed a deal last year with Miami Heat, so he's
shout out to that
year contract. And I'm just his everyday guy. I'm his everyday videographer. I create content for for him, and that's just what I'm on right now, man. I'm fortunate, been fortunate enough and blessed to be a part of his crew. So I just been traveling, man. I've been home for like a week and a half now.
About time. We was waiting for this joint, man.
Yeah.
So, wait, sidebar though. Like how did y'all cross paths? Like how did y'all meet each other?
Okay, so I met Kyle through a good friend of mine's, Ramon Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramon, who also plays ball, he played overseas. He played for Temple University. I met Kyle through him, like in 2009 or 2010. And we've worked before. Before he went to Toronto, I spent maybe like 3 months with him in Houston one time when he was playing for the Rockets. But once he went to Toronto, I wouldn't say it was a disconnect but we weren't working as much as we did when he was home.
That's what I was gonna ask though, because like far as like basketball players and them having to move around, like how do that look for you? Like you move around with them, or
I move. So I go like everywhere you go.
Per diem, like on call.
Yep. So that too. Usually, like the season is starting, so I won't be with them as much as I would on the off season. On the off season, I'm with them every day.
Mm-hmm.
We live in Vegas 2 months out of the year. And like I said, I'm his everyday guy. So
that's lit,
and I'm part of his crew.
Yeah, it is popping, man. What other celebrities you like been around? Was like blessed to be around?
I was blessed to be around, man. A lot of celebrities and athletes and but
name a few basketball players you actually shook hands with.
Man, countless. But I just in the last 3 months, I could say Bam, of course. He worked out with us in Vegas at Impact this year. Josh Green, who also worked out with us at Impact this year. Who else? My man from Philly, Hakeem Warwick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He had lunch with us one day. We was watching the Eagles game at Chickies and Pete's in Vegas. Chickies and Pete's, man, they came up. They everywhere.
Different. I know.
They everywhere, man. So man. But that's just to name a few. But yeah, man.
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
He gave out a whole interview. You know what I mean?
No, that's
That
what's
wasn't
up because I
but
can't
that's
help.
lit,
I
though.
can't help but to have side questions for certain
of
people.
course,
'Cause
man.
I be like, hopefully, like we blessed as a platform to get to that point though. But
Right.
Yeah,
I
no
can't
question.
wait for to be in your seat on somebody else's platform so they can ask me how many celebrities I actually shook hands
Yeah.
with and stuff like that. It's a good feeling, bro.
Yeah, he just
and
ready
it's,
to
and
go
it's
down,
like,
yeah.
and it's a light flex too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a light flex though.
Yeah. And then I just I'm blessed, man. And, I'm grateful and I'm thankful to be in the position in order to be in circles where I'm meeting these people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And, I'm just grateful, man.
That's facts.
Go ahead, Tom. What we talking about today though?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Debbie, we got like I think an important topic that affects homes. The culture, in my opinion, and especially to me, the children. Today we talking about drugs, right? We talking about drugs within the household, outside of the household, in the music, outside of the music, and just like your everyday life. A lot of people don't even talk about drugs as much as should be in a negative way. How we put the positive light on drugs, living in Philadelphia and really having a section that we call it Kensington Beach that really ain't no beach, like like it's the zombie land.
Mhm.
And you see like people on social media bringing more attention to it. Like even Meek Mill's last video snippet he was recording down there. I think that was powerful. Also, I forgot this other guy who go down there all the time and talk to the people that live down there, and you just get to sit back and think like, I can't imagine if I was a 6-year-old walking there and this is my school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's outside there every day. And so that kind of like brings me to my first question, as we was talking about, like what age, like would you like consciously aware of drugs? Like far as you could think about, like, far as you could think back, at what age did you like know like what a drug was, like, and what it like, and what it could do to you?
Yeah.
My first, I guess, introduction to drugs, of course, 'cause when you kids, you don't really like pay attention, or like I said last episode, you don't really got the social cues to really understand. Of course, drugs always been on like some of the rated R movies that I wasn't supposed to be watching, or the TV shows like The Wire. I remember being young and watching The Wire, not even knowing what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Real rap.
The greatest
So,
show ever too.
But actually, like knowing like the dangers of drugs and like all the repercussions of it was the DARE program. I don't know if a lot of people
Yeah, I
remember that,
DARE.
but the DARE program,
You showing our age with that one.
yeah,
These kids
the
don't
DARE
know what
program.
the DARE
I
program
think
is.
they came in, I believe, in
Yeah.
like 6th grade. I want to say 6th grade. Sixth
Okay.
grade, we had
Yeah.
like a DARE program. They used to come in every, I'm gonna say like every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. She used to come in and give
what
us
was
like
the slogan?
little.
Say no to drugs. Something
Well,
like
it was
that?
actually abbreviation. Drugs.
Awareness. I don't know.
Yeah, so, and that's terrible. That let you know.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but it was there, and it was like a
Yeah, shout out to
slogan at the
Officer
under the bottom.
Darlene. That was the actually the officer that used to come in and talk to us every other week. And the crazy part, she used to live right around the corner from my dad's house. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
it was cool, like seeing a familiar face, telling people, "Yo, I know her. Yo, that's my neighbor."
So 6th grade. So how old you was in the 6th grade?
12, I think.
12.
Around like 12.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was
Major,
the
how
first
about
time.
you, Major? Like the first time you really got introduced to drugs?
Man, I think I was, as a kid, you exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was exposed to it as a very young age, coming up where we come from.
Right.
And you just, at the time, you just don't understand the reality of, the substance and what it's doing. And, but, I think, I had my own personal experience, and, with drug usage and stuff like that. And I think I probably started, like when I was like 12, 13,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and even still not even knowing or understanding the reality of the situation, I'm just, being a kid and trying, different stuff. And, I ran into, weed
Coke.
and
No.
Damn.
He said that hard too. He was waiting. I knew this nigga sniffing out before.
I'm waiting for Oop to tell my truth.
Man, it was
That was funny though.
Nah, it was the weed, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
That's, you know what, for me, like my first introduction, I was talking to him on the phone. To drugs had to be like, honestly, maybe like 6, 7 for me. You know my pop, you know my family. So, I grew up in a drug house. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, and thinking about this now, like actually talking about it, it wasn't crazy for me to see somebody do harsh drugs in front of me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I've been in situations and parties, like, and when I went to college with niggas was like with when people would do coke and all that, and I'd just be like, all right. Or do acid. Like, you want something? No, I just walk right away from it. Like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't like nothing out of the norm to me.
right.
Because I remember like seeing drugs maybe like 6 as my first age. I remember seeing like the first uses of it, like how the way to get high, maybe like.
Let me ask you this:
8.
and what age did you like understand like the reality of, you know,
What
I
drugs
had
can
to-
do for you?
Yeah, like maybe like I had to say 9 because I started to notice my parents' behaviors on and off of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How they was acting, you know, or how I could get certain stuff from them when I know they high
yeah,
versus when they wasn't high. So I already knew at a young age when like now like that was a mood changer
yeah.
for them. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I already knew
Yeah.
how to manipulate the situation at 9.
No
Like,
question.
don't ask mommy for that right now. Don't ask daddy for that right now.
I was like that too.
Yeah.
I was when I was in school. I was like the type of school I went to. I wasn't really considered like a bad kid, but the type of school I went to, I was a bad kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like compared to these crazy neighborhood schools. So long story short, I used to always get in trouble for like kid stuff. So just just dumb stuff, getting up, not listening to the teacher, just grinding somebody up. Teacher telling me to stop, I'm still going.
Of course.
So we used to get detention. So whenever you got a detention slip, rather if it's like a regular lunchtime detention or after school detention, they'll give you a form with your name on it, what you did, and you had to take it home and go get it signed. I used to always wait until Friday to get my detention slip signed. And the thing about that is like with our school, you can have like a 1-day detention or a 3-day detention. Suppose I get a detention on Monday. Realistically, I only got 1 day. Like depending on if it happened before or after lunch, I gotta go to detention during recess or whatever the case may be. So what I used to do is like each day that you don't get the detention slip signed is an extra day until you get it signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 1 day can turn into a week depending on you taking that detention slip home and bringing it back with a signature and stuff.
No
Long
question.
story short, I used to wait till every Friday night because every Friday night I always knew or noticed that my mom was different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She used to
Yeah.
always be like, around her friends, and I can just picture her right now at my aunt's house. They all in the kitchen laughing and bunch of smoke, cigarette smoke and liquor and
Mom, can you sign
God,
this right quick,
and
Mom?
God knows what else. Like, you know what I mean?
Can you sign
I
this
used to
right
always
quick?
come to her with the detention slip. And Mama got detention. She used to just always like, this slurred, distinctive voice that I'd never forget. She used to be like, "You always getting in trouble," and she'll sign it. And that's that. By Saturday morning, she don't remember that she signed the slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that's out of pocket though? Like now, like I'm gonna get canceled for that? Like,
Nah, that's
Nah.
regular,
That's
when you a teen, man. I mean, I just thinking of things that I used to do, like to avoid trouble from my parents, like, you know what I'm saying. So I think that's just regular stuff, man. I don't think that's too crazy. That ain't too crazy.
that ain't too crazy. You just being a kid at the time, but you said something like, man, getting introduced to weed at 12, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my age. Well, I was 13 when I
Yeah.
first ever smoked the L. I was 13,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking about that. It's like, you come outside off that porch, weed is right in your face.
Yeah.
Like, cause you might be
Yep.
hanging with somebody that's 14, 15
Right.
who are already smoking.
Right.
And you might be like, you 12.
And that's what it was kind of like what it was for me, because I was always the youngest in my crew. Like, as far as my block boys go, I was always the youngest. I was, dudes was 15, 16, 17, sometimes even older than that, because, the hood I'm from, a lot of the older guys would, be on the block as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So,
oh
It's
yeah,
still
that's
the
still
same
every
shit.
day.
That's
That's
still the
still
same
every
thing.
day, man.
yeah. So like,
Sidebar. In hindsight, though, looking back on that, like me as an adult looking back on situations like that, I think every hood got the old heads that's still around and stuff like that. When I was younger, I used to look at that as like a passage, almost like, all right, damn, like we cool enough to hang with the old heads.
Yeah.
But now when you look back on it, it was like there was lames for hanging with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to tag that on. But go ahead.
Yeah. Or it could be both of y'all had nowhere to go.
Yeah. But me being a young boy, I got an excuse. I got an excuse to not have nowhere to go. I'm 15.
A lot of them make money in that hood.
You 23. What are you doing out here with me?
Because you probably making money in that same exact spot.
Yeah. But no, man, like you said, like as soon as you hop off the porch, man, is right there. Is right there. So, you know, and you know, a lot of my friends, they was older and they was already, you know, getting high, smoking weed and stuff like that. And I'm not really easily influenced. So, but it was just, you know, it wasn't like a social thing, like, you know, for acceptance or peer pressure or nothing like that. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to try it. And that was like my introduction, like to drugs, really.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, let's start exchanging some high stories though.
Listen.
Tell me your first time you got high.
I remember the first time I witnessed him, Cuz being like, I remember he was at Cuz house and he kept singing this song though, and I can't get it out of my head. Coke 45, 2 zigzags, baby, that's all we did.
Yeah, that was what was that? Who was that?
I don't even know. I mean, I was that young, but him, Cuz
Afro Man because I got high. All right, yeah. I had that on my MySpace page. That's how I know that.
But it wasn't that song. It wasn't because I got high. His
but
whole, like,
he had like a
mixtape.
It was something else though. But I remember him, Cuz, big bro. Yeah, they used to go right to the gas station, A+ at the time. Yeah, grab all these tasty kick files, and it was funny as hell to me. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I'm like, yo, but I never understood that. You know what I'm saying? I remember big bro was like 12, 13 too at the time. Yeah, when he first started, and you never really know that with somebody, I guess, getting introduced to these drugs at a young age. Yeah, but you know, the older I got and the more I went to school, and I actually learned that, you know, the first time you try any drug, your brain is altered for the rest of their life. And that was like, if I would have known that back then, I probably never even tried a drug. Yeah. Because you already like hindering like your growth. You know.
You feel like that would have scared you away?
I won't say scare me away. I just would have thought about it. Like, I probably like, nah, you know, if your brain might,
you would have gave it a second thought.
Like, your brain stopped growing at 25, right? Yeah. Per se, right? You know, the speed of it. I'm like, well, I probably try something at 25, 26 versus at 12, 13. Yeah. And it's a reason why a lot of these kids that probably start doing drugs at a young age, at 12 or 13, can't never get their life back on track at 30. Right. They don't have the mental capacity to actually do it. Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell somebody to change their life after doing drugs for 20 years.
No doubt.
Not to like, you know, go to serious note, but you know, drugs is serious in general. I know we thank God that we here today. You know what I mean? But just think about that, the ones that's not, who don't have the mental that didn't have that mental capacity to be able to understand that, you know, what they went through.
Yeah, depending on the drug we talking about though, because some would say weed is not as bad. I can like picture some weed listeners right now like, yo, what they drug you talking about? Because you know that's here or there in 2022. Weed is a drug. Weed is not a drug. That's a debate if it's good for us or not. You know what I mean?
I mean, but some people abuse it, some people don't. You know, but it's still weed though. I'd rather tell somebody to smoke weed to snort coke any day.
Yeah. But I'm honestly ready to get into your first time high stories though.
Man, I don't even remember, to be honest, man, because like, you know, I was when I first started, you know, smoking weed and stuff like that, you know, I was too young to even, you know, everything is like vague, you know what I mean? But
we old now. That's what.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, but I, you know, and then I went through something after that, you know, with opioids. You know what I'm saying? I had a real bad opioid addiction, and weed wasn't even, you know, because like I was weed bull, like
weed wasn't a problem.
You know, like I was smoking regularly at a young age, and like once opioids came around, like weed wasn't even.
Tell me about your first time on that. Like, what made you even want to do that?
Man, so I remember, I remember that vividly. I had a toothache at the time, real bad toothache. Man. This joint was crazy. And,
Start with pain, right?
Yeah, start with pain, man. And a homie of mine, you know, who had pharmaceuticals at the time, he was just like, yo, you know, try this, and you know, you'll be all right.
It's different types. Was it a 5? Was it a 30?
It was a banana. It was the 10. Yeah,
the most famous one of them all, right?
Yeah.
Why they call it a banana?
Because it's
I ain't too
literally
street
it's
savvy.
yellow.
Yeah,
and
yellow.
it's like shaped like oval, like kind of like, you know.
Yeah, but that was my first time experiencing it, and I just remember, you know, after that it was just like, you know, I was looking for it.
It was your cuz, let me get another banana.
Yeah.
You
No,
try to be serious, but it was funny though.
Nah, but that's how it started. It was just like, yo, like you got more of those, basically.
Yeah, that feeling is different.
Yeah.
He charged you for that after that?
Yeah. So
See, he said the first one was
that's the first one free,
the
right?
first one, I guess he reeled me
set
in
you
with
up.
that,
That's a rubber dickhead right now. You gotta call him up.
Nah,
I think
you know,
may be a player. You knew you was doing. Bro.
I mean,
like,
at the time, it was just like, I think he was just really just trying to be a friend. And you know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm playing. I don't want to put that on.
Nah, that's what we here for, man. Like, I don't want us to be too serious, man. I want us to, you know what I'm saying? Keep it real, but at the same time, have some fun.
You're not the only one, because you hear a lot of stories that somebody said, well, man, I was in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
Messed my foot up or messed my leg up, and then I start doing the Percocets, and then after that, like, you know, when my time was up from the Percocets, my body depended on it.
Yeah.
And they do it every day.
80% of heroin, people who transition to heroin come from painkillers.
Painkillers, right?
Something that's even more deadlier, and you know,
that
100
fetty,
times,
right?
Yeah, the fentanyl, man, is taking people out. And you know, you have some people who even prefer. You have some users that even prefer fentanyl.
Yeah,
you know,
right. You ever heard of that?
The fetty.
I heard of that, but I don't know what is like technically is like.
So
what,
fentanyl is a opiate as well.
But it's man made though, right?
I think
I thought all pills technically.
No, it's man made, but I mean like this is like new.
Yeah,
like somebody like recently created this like new.
Yeah, so I
mean,
they
started like using it in the dope. They started even making Percocet pills straight out of all fentanyl.
Yeah, so they use a lot of fentanyl for a lot of.
I heard it. One thing I heard, my fault. I just heard that fentanyl was like extremely addictive. Yeah. So what they do is a lot of people chase the fentanyl and whatever drug that they take and more than the actual drug, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like a lot of people be chasing the fentanyl high.
Yeah,
that's why they go to, you know, certain avenues. And
you know, one thing I learned about addiction, right? Because when I was in college, so come from my background, I was like, man, I want to take an addiction course. I want to know what make these, you know, these people tick. Like this my family. Like this my neighborhood. This my community. And it was like, no matter what drug you try the first time, you would never get that high again.
Yeah.
Ever again. Like I remember the first time I smoked marijuana. Like I never got that high again like I got the first time.
Yeah.
You know, because that was your first time. But that's with anything. Like the first time you drink, anytime you use a drug to alter your mood, I guess, or like this your body in general, because we not made to do these things.
Yeah.
You'll never get that high again. So I can imagine what you just was referring back to. You were saying like the fentanyl made people chase that high.
Yeah,
you know, consistently, but you will never get that
white
again.
People call that chasing a unicorn.
Yeah, because you will never see
if
it
y'all
again.
know what I'm saying. Like,
unicorn is not
South
real.
Park joke where you know they were chasing like a pink unicorn. I'm telling you, like, if you watch South Park, you know what I'm talking about though. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's because you don't watch South Park.
The dragon, man.
I just know unicorn is make believe. So I know if you're chasing a unicorn, you're chasing something that you will never see.
Yeah,
I can understand the analogy of it.
I can say that too, because addiction ain't got always do with drugs though. I get that from the tobacco. I used to smoke cigarettes a long time ago, and you know, Black and Milds, and even BDs and
remember the BD waves though.
And the BD waves,
the waves.
The BD waves,
I knew crazy because I like how like the first cigarette of the day, or the first Black and Mild of the day, or even the first BD of the day, like how it made you feel. Where I don't know if y'all felt like this. You know, everything different, but. Used to get lightheaded, but lightheaded in a good way though. Like not I'm about to pass out, John, but it's like a Oh, all right. It's my first
Yeah.
John. I like it. After that, it's pretty much over.
It's a sense of euphoria, like for, if only a brief moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I've been there too.
It's a dopamine shot for the
Yeah.
most part. It's a shot of dopamine to just get, and we talk about dopamine a lot, but that's really what it is, though.
Nah, no doubt, man.
I know, yo. I know. I hate ads too. But I gotta let y'all know that this Devil's Advocate episode is sponsored by Capital Punishment Games. Capital Punishment is the party argument game. So if you're the type of person that like laughing, that like cracking jokes, that like arguing with their friends, all in a good name of fun, Capital Punishment is the game for you. So you can go to capitalpunishmentgame.com, or you can just type in Capital Punishment Game on Amazon and you can find it there.
I've been through that as well. Like I've been through like
The first burger of the day.
Yeah, even that. It's like you need that to get on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like you need that to start your day up.
So what happened if you don't got it?
If you don't got it,
how your day go? How your day used to go?
So if you
woke up, I was
always,
damn, I ain't got no more. I took my last one.
I was always careful to always have my dose, my shot. I'm gonna just say my shot because that's everybody know it as that. In Philly, that's what we say. But like I would always have my shot for the next day, the night before.
You was proactive. You call that proactive instead of being reactive.
But for the times that I didn't have it, like you know what I'm saying, because you'll have your shot together for the night before, and it'll call you before the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you took that, and then once you go to sleep and you wake up, you need that shot.
You calling, and if you're not around, that's
yeah. Now you.
What you mean by you calling?
I mean,
you calling around. So you got it. You know what I'm saying?
But if they don't got it, you moody.
Like, now you moody. Like you definitely not. Your body. The withdrawal. The withdrawal symptoms. Start kicking in, and your body just basically start shutting down, especially your stomach, because you don't have no stomach.
You don't have no stomach.
You know what I mean? Your stomach lining. With the especially people who use Percocets, like what I'm saying?
Alter your appetite.
It definitely alters your appetite.
What other side effects is it? And and it's not even podcast questions. I'm genuinely interested because I don't know. Because I never took Percocets.
Eddie from the hood, bro. Like
that means nothing. That means nothing.
Eddie listen to rap music. Man, like come on, bro.
Yeah,
like
that don't mean nothing. But
come on, bro.
Nah, but what was your question again?
Like, what's the side effects of like Percocets?
Man, there's
you hear a lot of people talk about it, but
there's so many different side effects. It changes your mood. I've done research. I've done extensive research on opioids and uses and the things that it does to you. And when I say that, is basically like your hair falls out. One of the things your hair fall out your teeth. That's why you got a bunch of people with the side teeth. Like what I'm saying, and I had that too. I had 4 teeth missing from out of my mouth for using opioids, especially codeine, promethazine, the drink, the syrup. You know what I mean? I lost 4 teeth behind that, and I just got my grill back together. You know what I'm saying? But
fresh, you good though, cuz? I mean,
before that, I had the yuck mouth, and that was just from using and basically like disrespecting the drug. And when I say that, it's just like not using it properly. Like I'm drinking and I'm drinking syrup. Maybe
you
like my shot at the time. My shot at the time was like maybe 4-5 ounces a day, and then I'm washing it down or I'm mixing it with a pineapple soda or something like that, which is more sugar on top.
Yeah. Man, I remember I heard, man, my papa said, pass me that pancake and syrup.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. So back in the day, that's a back in the day term.
That's
like,
that's a combo. That's the school buses, the yellow Percocets, bro. And you drinking it down with straight.
So it's a banana and a school bus. That's the same thing. If I call somebody, they know.
I think back in the day, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was a Percocet or I think it was some type of if I'm not mistaken, a Soma or something like that. Mix it with the syrup because the phrase is cakes and syrup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I just remember like my dad was saying that, and
the
Yellow Jones this with the. I'm like, yo, like
Yeah.
That was back in the day. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like I couldn't even imagine knowing that. And then and that to me, that term, right? It was like, damn, like
Yeah.
I ain't seen nothing wrong with it,
Yeah.
know. And then you look at the music because I heard that in the song before too.
Just make it
Yeah.
sound cool.
And make it sound cool. Like it's just like I'm not like I said to everybody. Like no music doesn't control your life. It doesn't make you do these decisions. Of course, you as a own person have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet
Absolutely.
and do what you're supposed to do. But we also know how great that music influence your everyday life.
Yeah.
It's like scientific, like proving that music can influence your mood.
Yeah.
Some people playlists is based on how they feeling today. Like if one of your friends die, you ain't gonna go play no party music. You might be listening to all, sad things about your, about death. So
No question.
music definitely do have a correlation with your feelings and how, you go about things. So to hear drugs every day, I wake up to smoke, or I gotta pop a pill before I have sex, and like things
Yeah.
like that, you want to get conditioned to that, and especially if you want to, and these are your role models.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this even like Future always come to mind because I know he's not the biggest drug user ever.
The smack in the face where I feel
Yeah.
like, and I like Future.
But he
I
said
feel
he
like
didn't
Future
do it.
should have like
No,
his whole career should have been down the drain as soon as he admitted that he don't do none of
no,
that.
it's like when Jeezy was like, Jeezy told y'all trap or die, but his
Yeah.
kids graduated with masters and all that. No, that's I don't. Music's a form of art, like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna speak on on both of those things that you just said, including Future, because nobody romanticized drug culture and drug usage how he does.
He's different with it though.
Like he know how to put it in such a way where as though even if you're not getting high, like
It's
you
catchy,
trying to have
it
that
should sound
experience.
good.
Yeah.
Like that Codeine Crazy song, like bro,
Yeah.
like come on.
Yeah, like I couldn't, like when I was getting myself together, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, like I'll be 5 years clean.
Alhamdulillah, that's a
in
Congratulations.
man.
Shout out to
February.
that,
Thank you.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 years clean in February.
Yeah.
But when I first started getting myself together, I
What
really
about
couldn't
Coke? You
listen
still
to
on that?
Future. Nah, man, hell nah, man, nah.
This nigga not funny, but he had his first funny moment on his podcast. I gotta respect it.
Yeah.
That was his first authentic funny moment that he didn't plan for it. Any other time is in his notes. Any other time he written that in his notes.
I'm editing that right now.
He
Go
wrote
ahead,
his
bro.
jokes in the notes still to get they laugh. That was the first one, bro.
But yeah, man, when I was getting myself together, I couldn't really listen to it because it was like it would change my mood. You feel
Real
me?
rap,
It
yeah.
would change my mood, but nothing can take me back to where I was, and I thank God every day that he brought me from up out of that, because it's not an easy thing, man.
Mhm.
You got a lot of people that's dealing with opioid addiction in some capacity, even if they aren't using, maybe a family member, so it affects you. You know what I'm saying?
All the way around.
It definitely affects you, and it affects the community, especially like the Percocets they hit. I remember when they first hit. You know what I'm saying? And I gradually, it
Went up
grew.
on dosage?
Yeah, like watch it. Like I watched it, you know what I'm saying? And being a part of it as well, like, you know what I'm saying?
What's your Percocet timeline? Like you said, where you started, you said you started with a banana, the tens, right?
Yeah.
How many tens did you take before you realized that I got to go up to the next level?
Man, I think I would see me, the type of user I was like, I was moderate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really, I had, my shot just enough to, when I first started using, like I just enough to, get that feeling back. And then after a while you wake up and you need it. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I can't remember, but I just know, like, I went from Percocets to promethazine, codeine. And once I was introduced to, promethazine, codeine, AKA drink,
Or
AKA,
lean,
yeah,
sir.
you know
dirty
what I mean?
Sprite.
And so once I got introduced to that, it was like Percocets and other pills that I was using, like like Xanax and stuff like that. That was like low level. You know what I mean? So up in my dosage, I would say, is when I switched to drink.
To bring it back to when you said, cause that people that live in the house with drug users, right?
Yeah.
That's not even a drug user.
Yeah.
It affects them too. Like, can you tell me about that? Speak on that.
So I can speak on it, like, you know, in a more broader sense, because I know it's a lot of women that's dealing with it right now.
Facts.
They got men that's getting high, and they may not even know what it is at first. You know what I'm saying? They just know that, you know, he lasts longer. He ain't got, but see, but like, all right, so listen, like that's the best part about it. That's like, because a lot of women,
camera and tell these girls that
a lot of y'all women,
just because I ain't on perks means I can't get block on.
I pop a perk. That used to be one of the famous lines.
That's another conversation too, because like I call that dancing with the devil. I dance with the devil, you know, a bunch of times, meaning whereas though like I got myself clean, but I would go back to it because it made me a better performer in bed. Yeah. So I'll be like 6 months clean, run into a new chick and want to impress her, and I'll be like, yo, I gotta go perk on her.
Yep.
I gotta go lurkathon on her. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's dangerous, bro.
Stuff like cool stuff like that make people want to do it.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that before.
Let me disclaimer real quick. Like I know we talking about it, like, and I'm not trying to romanticize and I don't want to make it seem like it's cool. Right. This shit ruined my life.
Yeah, he lost 4 teeth.
I lost 4 teeth. I lost my family. I was married. You know what I'm saying? With my son's mother. I was married twice. You know what I'm saying? But the first time with my son's mother, and I lost that. I lost friends. I lost the trust from my community. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And my mom, once my mom knew I was getting high and all that, she was just like, yo, once people find out that you get high, they're going to stop respecting you. And they did. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I regret from, is just like bringing that shit to my mom's door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was many times where as though, people was coming to the door looking for Mage. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's,
but to bring it back, let me bring it back,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I feel like what you was saying was like you was hinting at something before I said what I said. Yeah. Talk to these women again. Like you started off by saying a lot of women don't realize the man that they got when they first start taking those perks. Like I ain't mean to cut you off. I feel like that was about to be impactful.
So first of all, you getting your head knocked off. They call it dope dick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's different sex and you perform like an animal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
it's no feeling.
Yeah, like the women, the women, they enjoy that and they love that. So even if they do know that they have, they significant other is using a form of opioid, that alone will, prolong the relationship or the conversation that need to be had. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of women are dealing with it. A lot of women are dealing with, a lot of guys that, they can't, help out with the bills. They can't really do nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I want to just add this is, you can't be 100% for nobody when you using opioids. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you dug in and you got a real addiction. You know what I mean?
Because it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to make a decision. Like, even it could be a smallest decision, like picking up your son or hurry up and going to go get this pill before he leave before the ball leave town.
You would try to make that happen.
Before that.
You get what I'm saying?
Like, make that happen. You would be like, you know what? I'm going to go get this first, and I'll make it pick my son up in time. And don't come.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like one of the questions we always talking about. Like drugs to people might sound cool in music, or it might look cool like in videos.
Trust me, they make it sound movies, cool too. Yeah, there's so many quotable moments.
But how many of those stories when, like, as a kid you was expecting your dad to come to your game, your dad ain't come because he was out getting high.
Yeah,
you could come home, your dad in there getting high.
Yeah,
me, personally, like my dad ruined my college graduation because he wanted to get high.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like one of my biggest accomplishments I had in my life, coming from our family, we don't have too many college graduates. And then to do that, I'm like, bro, I could have gave that ticket to anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Explain that. What happened?
So I'm graduating from Temple. You only get 5 tickets, bro.
Yeah.
We had I think we had at the Leah Core Center. So it's thousands of us graduating. And my uncle from Atlanta. My uncle, he's from Philly, but he moved down to Atlanta. So he came up to see me graduate. And I had 5 tickets. So I gave him one. I gave both my brothers one. That's 3. I gave my mom one. That's 4, and I gave my grandma one. I think that's 5. Right. I wound up talking to like the counselor, so I got 6. And I could have gave it to my aunt Teresa. I'm gonna say I could have gave it to one of my aunts. You could cut the name out, right?
You could have gave it to me.
My aunts. I could have gave it to anybody.
You could have gave it to me.
I could have gave it to you.
That day I was living. That's when I was living at your house too.
Yeah,
you remember?
Right.
Yeah.
Look, listen. I could have gave it to him. I could even give it to the woman I was dealing with at the time. I could have given it to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I saved that for him. And then, mind you, in hindsight, the irony of it, he never went to my high school graduation either because he was locked up. So you had a chance to come to a major graduation, that I had, and a lot of people don't graduate from college. Some people start, don't finish, or people never even go. I went. So just the fact that he ain't.
You ain't better than me though.
I'm not better than nobody.
You tell us a lot of people don't go. A lot of people just.
No, I'm saying because some people don't go to experience it. That's not no knock. It's millionaires that don't go to college. It's billionaires that don't go to college.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this process, if you went through this process, it's like a milestone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you no better than nobody at all. I never believe I'm better than anybody.
Bro, I'm dead.
No question.
I know you dead.
Come on, now I'm gonna look like an ass. I'm dead and
No, but just to bring it back to the drug use part to me is like, all right, and to get home, and he didn't even come to the graduation. Now, mind you, my dad don't live with me. But they already see him in the crib, my house, before I even get there. It was like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, it was
yeah.
And then my uncle coming in there and everything like that, and my uncle, he respectable boy, but he just straight start grabbing the stuff and doing it in front of everybody. Like, yeah, congratulations, let's have a party. And
yeah,
I'm like, yo, like this, my grandma, aunt's here, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I was frustrated about that.
So you start using drugs like right
there, and like I was like, and that's just crazy because to me it brought me back to my childhood. Like accomplishment moment to me was rumored by drug use. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wasn't even the user.
Right.
Like it just bring it back to what you were saying that you don't have to use drugs.
It affects us, man.
Everybody around you. You know what I mean? So I look at that and I know how drugs can make you only think about yourself. And you were saying like it's never personal. And it is not personal. I don't think that he meant that, you know what I mean? But I just know for a fact that that drug meant that.
Yeah.
And whatever he had inside of him, that it brought it right out. It's going to bring it up.
Yeah. And to elaborate on the it's not personal part, that happened off camera though. But I brought up that drug use is never personal. Like a lot of people will they'll get it misconstrued that like, if they got like a drug addict, rather if it's like I'm gonna say like a crackhead or a dope fiend or whatever nicknames you get, like because it's different levels. Like you can have like functioning like people that get up and go to work and still do drugs too, opposed to those quote unquote fiends that you see on the street. So it's definitely different levels to it, right? So a lot of people like will look down on the quote unquote fiends because everybody had that cousin or their aunt or something that like whenever they came in their house, you always had to watch them. Like you watch them, they be stealing and this, that, and the third. Yeah. What I was saying, I said all that to say that a lot of people get that confused with that being personal. Where whenever like somebody around and they'll steal, people think that they're stealing from them when in reality they only stealing for the high. They stealing for them, not from you. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
No doubt, yeah.
So it's definitely not personal. Like a lot of people like lose friends or even lose family members.
Man, listen, I lost my career at the time, man. Like just like I call it junkie mentality, man. It's just because you
looking for that next come up, like that next fix, that next couple dollars where that joint gonna come at. And
I never shared this with anybody, and I dropped this on y'all, man. I was doing, videographer for an up and coming rapper, and I was in a beautiful situation and had a lot of opportunities. Just being with this artist when it came to like getting paid and stuff like that, I was getting paid from, he would pay me out of his pocket on a weekly basis. But I would use it to, get high and stuff like that. So one day he called me and was just like, yo, I'm no longer going to pay you out of pocket. I'm going to wait for the label to pay you. You know what I'm saying? So at the time,
why you think he did that?
I know the reason why he did that. That's another story. You know what I mean? I'd rather not share that.
Yeah.
But, he went from paying me out of pocket on a weekly basis to not paying me at all. And he was just like, yo, we going, we going to hook it up where as though the label will pay you. So I don't have to pay you out of pocket, So I was, at the time, with, being, junkie mentality, I was just like, I couldn't accept that. You feel me? So it's just like, once he's told me he would stop paying me, I already knew that I couldn't get high the way that I was getting high. That was my whole thing. It wasn't even really so much about my family or going back home broke or, having money for, Pampers and food and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question. Yeah, how much of that was really about your kid?
It was zero.
Yeah.
Zero. It was about me and, me knowing that if I'm not making that money on a weekly basis, you know what I'm saying? And my habit at the time, like I said, like I was going crazy. So, if I can't, if that's not coming in, then, you know what I mean? It's just like, so I was just
what
like,
happened after that? So like, how did that situation resolve itself?
Yeah, I was just like, yo, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And, I basically fucked up an opportunity just because I was trying to get high.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it definitely put you in a how you become a better person today though.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now like, I'm fortunate enough to be in an even better situation than that was, you know what I'm saying, with Kyle and stuff like that and having these different opportunities to even, spread and tell my story. Like, right. So, I got a nonprofit organization right now. It's called Opioid Free Philly. That I haven't really, done anything with yet, but I do want to get busy. I do want to hit the streets and maybe go to the Kensington Beach.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah. I want to, go to some of these schools and speak to some of these the youth, who are already, who they already exposed by drug culture if they aren't already using. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to tap in with them and just tell them my story and tell them, yo, I was up here and I lost that. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to, you could use me an example. You don't have to go that route. Mm-hmm. So I also have a clothing line, Opium Clothing & Co., which is, that's my baby. You know what I mean?
That's fire too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So,
this an ad, yo.
Yeah. Shameless plug real quick, man. So, but nah, so, I'm really, doing real things with this clothing line and just spreading awareness about, the opioid epidemic, with clothing and art and other little cool ways to, spread the message.
One of the pictures on there, right, was a prescription bottle and a side of a revolver. Yeah. Like the gun.
That's called the oxymoron tea. You talking about the oxymoron
Yeah, that was crazy. I definitely
yeah, because it's like,
killing yourself.
Yeah, oxymoron.
Yeah.
That's hot, yo.
Yeah, that's fire, right?
Thinking about it, who came up with that?
I did. So
that's fire.
My clothing line is like, it's a bunch of unique pieces.
You still be rapping?
Nah.
Only said that because that was a rap bar, but I knew you used to be rapping. That's hot though, as far as with that.
No doubt.
Now, because as soon as I pictured it, I'm digging again. My bad, bro. You was looking at me like
no, I wasn't gonna say it though.
No, but it's one of those genres where like when I love bars like that. Like when somebody say it, like when you think about it and it hits you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just make you rewind the song.
Nah, man, I gotta get you one of them joints, the oxymoron tea. So it's basically a revolver with the prescription bottle being the barrel.
Being a barrel, bro. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So, you know what I mean? So it's a dope t-shirt.
Explain the meaning of that for the people who didn't get that, who not rap fans, who don't get the bar or even can't picture it.
So basically the entendre of it all is basically that, you playing Russian roulette when you dealing with, you know, these prescription painkillers, especially now with fentanyl being in these press pills and stuff like that. You never really know what you're getting if you aren't getting them from, you know, a reliable source.
This to bring it right, like bring it back all to like drug use, right? I know in our era, right, we're not too far from age that people never use like these type of opioids, type of drugs hard at a younger age than they do now. Like, you know, as me, you know, being a teacher and being around some younger people that, you know, I know that's in high school.
Yeah.
I never imagined a high school to be like I'm in 9th grade, 10th grade, and I'm on P's, like on Percocets. Like, and to me, it's like as a generation goes, go on, like even with the gun violence, like, you know what I mean, like noticing like how when we was younger, maybe people really start playing with guns maybe heavy like at 16, 18.
No doubt.
And maybe out of all 10, maybe 1 or 2 really was a shooter. Now it's like out of all 10 got guns that they shooting. Yeah. Like the generation is changing for the worse. And I always believe that drugs play a big part of that, because your parents on drugs, they're not loving you, they're not raising you the correct way. Right. Then you get on drugs at a young age, and we already told you how drugs already
alters the mind, and how
and you're
impressionable the young mind is.
You're not going to think logically, like, you know, and what would you do to get your next high? Like, that's always something like you got to think about your drug use.
Like nowadays, like, you know, just seeing like the gun violence and just like, you know, the violence and the crime in our city, period. I already know that, you know, more than 60% of that is from, you know, drug usage. And, you know, just like even like at the very core of it is drugs.
Explain,
you know
what
I'm saying? Because
why you think it's drugs though? Like, because you feel like, you know, you being a previous user, you feel like you had some of those demonic thoughts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if you know, like if I can't get, you know, the drug, you know, I'm doing something to get it, and 9 times out of 10 is you know, is something, you know, unlawful, you know what I'm saying, or against the law. You know what
Explain the feeling to the people that actually can get the drugs, but they still out here doing the shootings and stuff. You think there's more so like because, like you said, the drugs alter your mind and your thought process.
Absolutely.
And stuff like
I mean,
that.
you got a bunch of young guys, especially
that's out here actually
like,
shooting,
you know,
quote unquote ops and shooting up a specific block where their violence is targeted, opposed to just people who just want to rob somebody because they want their next fix. Yeah. So like, far as like I guess like explaining, you know, your thought process or your opinion on your thought process of why these people actually out here crashing out like that.
Because like, you know, if you've ever been through withdrawal or, you know, been without, you know, any opioids for some time, then you know that feeling. You don't want to go through that feeling, so you'll do anything to stay away from that feeling. You know what I'm saying? You'll rob, you know, your own mother. You know what I'm saying? If it came down to it. So this is what we dealing with. We dealing with, you know, frustrated youth that's, you know, with, you know, no emotional intelligence, no real men around, and they got these drugs. You know what I'm saying? They all talk about it in the music with, you know, with the drink and stuff like that. And I got out the game at a beautiful time, because, you know, the stuff that's out here now is just like, it's trash. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I don't even know from experience, but I just know that, you know, what they're out here doing as far as like, you know, what they're putting out as far as like the products and stuff like that. Right. It wasn't what, you know, what we was on. It wasn't as potent as it was. But, you know, I say it's at the core because, you know, a lot of backdoor, underhanded stuff be happening with these young guys, you know, just for some paper to get, you know, some perks. A lot of them out here, they selling drugs just to take it to the perk man. You dig what I'm saying? So it's a lot of crazy stuff going on that revolves around, you know, even using the drugs, not even selling it. You know what I mean? Just using it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if I'm illin' and I need my shot, and I know my man, he got a little couple dollars or whatever, I, you know, junkie mentality, say, you know, do something that, let's just say, you know, I stole from him or something like that. And now, you know,
Meek said it in one of his songs. He said, "Gets to steal from you and kill for you." How was that?
Yeah.
So I guess that's what you're explaining. Where you know what I was saying earlier,
Because
where
it's
not personal.
It's not personal.
Like,
but like
that's my man. Like all I'm doing is taking the money that he don't know. But like I definitely rumble with him if you need me to.
Right. But like that's what we dealing with, man. And when you can't get, you'll do anything once you can't get that drug. Man.
Yeah,
I
definitely want to like finish off with this, right? Because a lot of times people don't think that they are drug addicts because they just not smoking crack or they're not shooting up dope in their arms, so they're not leaning over.
Yeah,
and they functional because they have a job or or they hustling every day. Like, well, I got my own house, I got my own house, I got my own car, so I'm not a drug addict.
Yeah, maintain and use it.
Yeah, you just a maintain user. Like it doesn't make you
addict.
It doesn't make you no different. You still the same person.
So prescription painkillers like Vicodin, Oxycontin, et cetera, and stuff like that, they equivalent to heroin.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't frown upon somebody who is a needle user or somebody like somebody who snorts dope and stuff like that. Like in our neighborhood, that's frowned upon. But you'll pop a perk 30, two of them.
Everybody
that's
the
4
of
them.
Like
that's
it's cool.
5 of them.
That's the biggest misconception right there, though. Like and not even necessarily blaming music, but it's so romanticized in the hood where like picture like Last Generation.
Yeah.
I keep saying coke though. I think I want to try coke.
Oh
but
man,
no, it's like because
the second fucking thing.
No, but what I'm saying is like you'll think about the Last Generation and how much our parents, or not even our parents, but how much that generation actually snorted coke.
Because
that was
the 80s,
thing.
man.
That was the 80s. That was the new drug that was out that was popular. Where
absolutely
is so many coke references and songs and stuff like that.
I know that. Remember that hit tastes like that was before that Candy song. I didn't even know that was about coke. Cause like that was crazy.
Tastes like candy.
Yeah.
But
damn, I didn't know that. You just put me on the song.
Right.
So fast forward and stuff like that next generation after that, we looked at coke heads or that as the bottom. As the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you
Now
said, like all the drugs is the same where you can't look at this and that is because like I said, not solely blaming it on the music, but the music is making these perks and these stuff like that is making it cool. So this generation is not looking down on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think with all the awareness that's going on now in 2022, when people been doing it like, years ago, I think the next generation where our kids is going to grow up to look at us like how we looked at the last generation with coke.
Yeah.
So I think if this movement keep going and, you keep going strong and the road and the direction that you keep going, you are helping everybody. Like you helping you helping like the youth look down on this Percocet wave, which they should have been doing.
No
you know
doubt.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So with they kids look at us like, yo, what was they doing? Like what type? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was like I guess that was terrible, but you get what I'm saying?
No, I
know exactly what
you
you're saying. Yeah.
That was definitely good. And I just want to tell them too, like. And people always say like it comes so like you said romanticized, like even in the bar they always say like and I mean raps like I don't need a pill to drill, like you know what I mean, I don't need to be high, my shooters shoot sober, and then when y'all get done y'all go right back to getting high. You know like it's a problem because these drugs change your logic thinking, like right. Because if you sober, you might think like, damn, if I go do this, he might be out there, she might be out there, this might happen, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It's normal for a normal person mind to race that way. You think about all the thoughts, but when you high, it's like fuck it.
You stuck
in it cover your nerves.
It's like I think about it
your
tomorrow.
Nerves and you don't feel at that moment.
Yeah,
though.
you don't
know
think
what I mean?
about it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I never did a drill before, but I can only imagine how it make you feel because I know how alcohol make me feel whenever I gotta call somebody.
And we definitely know how alcohol had this. You know what I mean?
Chill. That's not for the pod. But
it's not for the pod.
It's not for the pod though. But like I know how alcohol make me feel, so I can only imagine. Because everybody say like alcohol it give you no courage, where like you thinking about sending that text or you thinking about doing this, that, and the third though. But as soon as you get drunk, it's like man, forget it. I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine like with these perks and stuff.
Cat Williams said, remember Cat Williams said it gives you that effort chemical. Like fuck it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you do things impulsively, and then you don't have to think about the consequences until the action is already done.
Yeah.
And that's when you see a lot of people, wishing and hoping that they never did what they did the night before.
No
matter
doubt.
if it's a sex act, no matter if it's a violent act, or just being a bad friend.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So those things happen, though, man. But look, we appreciate you to have you on the show.
Thank y'all for having me, man.
I mean, we would love to do part 2 because it's crazy.
Yeah, we got to do
It's
part
so
2,
much,
man.
it's so
much
much
to talk about.
Even talk about it. Like, I didn't even get to the question because, like, the question I wanted to ask was, like, Tonka had this crazy K2 phase that he just kept smoking.
What? Matter of fact, he not even lying. I did one time.
No
cat. No, listen.
No.
I ain't know what it was though.
Yeah.
Listen, I used to smoke weed. He's no cat, but listen, we always smoke weed in the back. And Cuz came through. Cuz put an L in the cipher.
Yeah.
And we all was, smoking. And then I remember we all was smoking. I'm like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
He said, oh, it's weed. So all right, it was cool. But then the second time around, I'm like, Cuz, what's this? Like this ain't tasting the same. This ain't hitting the same.
This K2. He said, yo, that sounds cool. I know what a K9 is. What's a K2?
That's what the hell is this? He said, I'm on probation. I can't. Bro, that joint had me tripping at. Like, I'm like, as soon as he said it was K2, I never smoked after that day, man.
Real fast. Explain K2 though. It's what is it?
Man, honestly, I can't even tell you what it is
Yeah.
because I never rolled it up or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, one time when I was younger, that we was in a cipher, somebody came, and that was my first rule, yo, don't pass me nothing that's rolled up.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad it was just K2.
It was a crazy
and not no coke.
It was
he's about to say 2K.
Yeah. It was a crazy wave in Philly though. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It kind of died down, but it was like more
imagine how
dudes that was incarcerated.
Yeah,
and stuff
think
like
about
that.
it. Imagine the people on parole, they can't have
they can't smoke. Yeah.
Imagine going back.
So it's weed that you can
months.
get high on, but it won't show up in your system.
No, weed.
Yeah,
that's not weed. K2 is not weed.
It sound real robotic and man-made.
Anytime your poppy store sell it, it's not weed. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just tell you that.
Yeah, but I just want to end off with just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? For anybody that, could use my story to, uplift them and help them and even hit me up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm Major Films 215 on all platforms, man. Hit me up. Like, I'm not, like a judgmental dude. I already know what you're going through at whatever stage you're going through. I've been there on all stages. There's no scenario that I haven't been through as an addict. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm with, uplifting people and just trying to help people get their lives back together. I'm just putting minds back together. I had to relearn a lot of stuff. I had to relearn how to save money. I had to relearn how to spend money because every dollar that I had, I would spend towards getting high. So I had to, you got
to relearn discipline.
Yeah, relearn discipline.
Responsibility.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because, you don't have no responsibility, especially, a lot of these young guys, man, like, I'm gonna just end it off there, man.
Yeah, we gotta do part 2.
Part 2, man. Let's
do
it,
man. A lot of these young guys, what?
A lot of these young guys, man, they going through it, and I feel for them. Like I said, I know there's no scenario that I haven't been through or even experienced or heard. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you're going through, I know where you at with it, and just try to get some help, man, because the drugs is different. It's not stay sober or it's either you get clean or you die out here. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the fentanyl, like that Fetty is taking people out, man. I know, at least 10 people within the last, year and a half, that overdosed from, the press pills and stuff like that.
I think that statement right there is so powerful though. And like I said, we can end it though, but there's certain things that can't wait for a part 2. We got the presence and we recording right now, though.
No doubt.
Take a time to talk to those people. Like you said, you gotta get help though. Like instead of being vague though, like what do help mean? Like what steps did you take to make it to the point that you at now? Like
man, everybody got a rock bottom. Everybody got a rock bottom, and then I believe that even as addicts out there that can't get away from it, that want to, and I wanted to, you know what I'm saying?
So first thing you gotta want
to. Can't nobody tell you people could talk to you all day until their face turn blue. You have to want to do that. You have to want to
absolutely
get better. You have to want to get help. You know what I'm saying? And nobody can make you do that. You gotta you know, you got to hit everybody. Like I said, everybody has a rock bottom, and mine was, you know, I was just going into my 30s, and you know, it was a lot of things that I was dealing with at the time. But one of the things that was playing in my head was this Biggie verse, you know what I'm saying? And being broke in 30, give a nigga the chills. And I was just like, yo, I ain't trying to go into my 30s broke and dependent on a drug that I can't even really afford anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't go into any facility or anything like that. Not that I was above it or anything like that, but you know, I tapered off myself.
You ain't had the resources, or
yeah, I mean, I did. I had the resources, and I had, you know, places that I could have went and got help, but I just did it, you know,
out of embarrassment. You ain't went.
Nah, it wasn't really that, because I always felt like my mind was always strong, but it was my body that was attached to it. So I always told myself, if I could get my body, you know,
as strong as your mind,
right, then I'm cool. Like, so once I tapered off and I got clean, like my mind was always ready for the body to follow up. But
what do tapering off mean? Like, did you go completely cold turkey, or did you?
Nah, that's dangerous.
Slowly wean yourself off of it, because I'm on a lot of medication right now. But
no question,
you know, the medication I'm on is for like different. It's not perks or nothing, but it's for other things. But that's why they always tell you, if you'll notice on, you know, pill bottles and stuff, it say consult with the doctor whenever you're ready to get off.
Right.
So what you got, because like depending on the dosage that you're taking for, you know, certain pills or certain medications, you got to wean yourself off. So like, you know, any pill, just for example, if you up to like 100 milligrams or something a day, you got to talk to a doctor so they can slowly like, all right, I'm going to prescribe you 50s now. You take them for 3 days, and then I'm going to prescribe you 10s.
Right.
You take them for 3 days, and then you cool. You got to slowly wean yourself off, because it's a crazy shock that your body go through if you go from 100 milligrams to 0.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and that's just getting professional help. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I would advise to get professional help. I wouldn't advise to do it the way that I did. I didn't go cold turkey, but like the way that I did, you know, I just tapered myself off using another synthetic opioid called Suboxone. Now, Suboxone,
I definitely heard of that before.
Yeah. So I used it correctly. Some people even use that to get high. You know what I'm saying? And it comes in a pill form as well. So I've heard, you know, the likes of people, you know, even crushing it up and snorting it, and you know, so I used it correctly, and I used it to taper off the opioids, and then from there, I think I maybe like, you know, I may have used it for like 2 months, and then after that, I went into fasting. You know what I'm saying? So at this time, like, you know, it was, you know, I'm a Muslim, so the month of Ramadan came around, and I know the beneficial properties of fasting, period. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I use that time to heal spiritually, physically, mentally, and, you know, coming from out of that, that month, I was a new person. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Yeah. What year was that? You said 5 years clean?
Yeah, so it'll be 5 years this February. This February, I made that conscious decision. I was like, yo, I even had a conversation with my homie, because, you know, he wanted the same thing for himself. And, you know, that's what true friends do. Like, a real friend is going, want the same thing for you. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if we in the same boat. And, you know, he followed up after me, a couple months after me, maybe like 2 or 3 months after me. He took the same route that I took, and it'll be his 5th year this year as well. Like, you know,
that's
what
pop, because actually that's really what it is. A lot of people just need the first person to do it first, man.
Yeah, and that's what I try to be.
And the crazy part, people won't tell you that they need you to do it first, because everybody's so tough, and don't nobody want to be vulnerable, and don't nobody want to be honest. But sometimes you got to be the first person to make that move, and you'll be surprised how much influence you actually like really got, man.
That's a fact, man. And I try to be a conduit for my homies, like, you know what I'm saying, because they look up to me, because they know how serious this addiction is and this epidemic is, like, and just being dependent on opioids. So, you know, they definitely, you know, it's commendable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that, you know, that got away from this drug and don't look back, it's commendable, man. So, you know, I always try to be an example for my homies and people that I know that are that struggling with opioid usage and addiction, because I know it's real and I know it's not an easy thing to get away from. Like, mine, you know, my process is different from everybody else's process, and like I said, I would get professional help. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if I could have did it all over again, I probably would have got professional help. You know
yeah, people don't understand like how serious this really is, because like, you know, not everybody go through drug addiction or even getting over that hump of like battling a drug addiction, or even, I ain't gonna say fortunate, but like even like see how drug addiction actually affects everybody.
No doubt. Yeah.
I really think that it should be like some type of national holiday, like, you know, rather if you clean, or like, it should just be a national awareness day that everybody celebrate, like, you know, yearly, or just bringing awareness to, you know, like people who actually got away from it, just a day to celebrate all that, because like I said, like, you not in it. A lot of people don't really see what we actually seeing the zombies at night, or seeing, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like it should be celebrated a lot more, even if it comes in like a form of holiday and stuff like that.
No doubt.
Like, that's really a thing. Like it's not, because it only made me say that because you said that it's very commendable. I think that that's like an understatement. Cause like that's really a great thing. Like that, I know it's a great feeling. That's a pivotal point in your life. But for you to just say that that's commendable, that's an understatement. Yeah. So it should be like a bigger awareness though. Like, but you know, I ain't mean to like wrap your head off. No, Drew, thanks for coming.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming through,
man.
bro. Like, absolutely,
I appreciate it
for
bro.
sure,
Okay,
man. We got to do it again, man. Let's sit down again, man. And you know, this was fun, man. This was fun.
Absolutely. We're going to have a part 2, though, because you still got to tell me about how you got off coke.
So that shit was quoted that time, but the first time was fun. I laughed because it was
Thanks for tuning in to Devil's Advocate, where it's two sides to one story.
No cap.
Just try and stay in it, lay up and play in it. Flights overseas, we saying pay with it. Presidential suites, we can spend the whole day in it. Put roses on the sheets, your body melts soon as you lay in it.